Hello, everyone. This is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome everybody to the show, and also my apologies for my tardiness. I know, but y'all probably chilling, eating the last bits of that dressing and turkey or whatever. So, my apologies. But we're here, and it's better late than never. I'll wait till a few more people get in here, and then we can get everything started. And while we waiting on folks, how you doing today, Miss Nikole?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I realized just before that I had scheduled this on YouTube, but not with StreamYards. And
yeah.
I'm not as adept as like Valdez with OBS to use StreamYards with OBS. So I'm like, crap. So then I had to like delete it.
Yeah.
And then started with this, with the StreamYards. I'm like, because how am I gonna have her as a guest, but I got it up there. Oh well. Hey Evo Sosa, how you doing? So we in here.
As long as you here, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like better
Thanks
late
for
than never.
listening.
How
Yeah.
was your weekend? How was your turkey day?
Oh, Thanksgiving was good. It was kind of busy, you know. I think for me it was a lot of cooking. I started Wednesday night
My girl.
cooking because I didn't want to be stressed, and I get up early, like 6, sometimes earlier than that. So I did get up around 6 on Thursday to
Mm-hmm.
finish. I had to start my green. I had to get I had hens, little Cornish hens.
Oh, okay. You put them.
I didn't want the turkey. That's just too much, too much
Mm-hmm.
responsibility.
Sometimes the turkey
So
be too much, especially if you don't got a lot of people eating
right,
it. Sometimes the turkey is too much. Mm-hmm.
right, and I think it's something that's so big. I don't people like find it intimidating. Like, okay, what are we gonna do with this later? Sandwiches, salad. So I
Mm-hmm.
figured the Cornish hens were a better option. But we got down, we did the thing. How about you? How'd everything go with you for the holidays?
Just regular. It was reflective for me since a lot of my family members are gone.
Mm,
So I didn't do no cooking like I usually would have done, but you a woman after my own heart because Wednesday night you got to start. You got to start on your dressing, because that take the longest, especially when I was
mhm,
cooking turkeys. It take a whole 24 hours to thaw that bad boy.
right.
Then you got to cook it the night before. You can't be waking up Thursday morning cooking. That's a travesty. That is a tragedy. You can't do that. You talking about all day? The only thing you're supposed to
Mhm,
be cooking that next day is probably your sweet potato pies, your greens,
right.
easy stuff, the quick stuff. Don't take nothing about an hour or so. Your cakes or
Mhm.
whatever you're gonna do. But I just spent time with my sister. You know,
Oh wow.
um, because for those of you who don't know, we live together. And but just having the different conversations that you know bring us a little bit closer because we already were real close and whatever, but sometimes you can't take for granted that people understand stuff, so you just
Yeah.
have to say it to them. What I'm saying? I can't take for granted that she know I love her and she know, what I'm saying, and she know all of these things. So we took
Right.
the time out to say those things to each other, and it was really really it was really good. It was really wonderful. I connected with my brother because he don't live in the same state,
Mhm.
and just checked up on him and see how you doing and whatever. Because it's just us three amigos now. It's just me, my sister, and my brother. That's the only ones left because most of my other family members are either gone because I got an old family.
I was about to
So
ask you that. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So my first cousins are my daddy and mama's ages.
Right.
They're old.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm. And there a lot of them are passed over.
Right.
And
Okay.
so the second and third like cousins, either I don't know them or they own about their life and we don't really have a connection. So we once had a really huge family and
Hmm.
now it's not like that anymore. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you have an older family.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jason has dealt with that before himself. I think for him, I have to agree with you on one point when you're saying that the holiday was, and I think it's like that, not just for Thanksgiving, but the holidays in general, year round for him is more reflective a lot of times because he has an older family. I mean, it's 13 kids, and his parents, they're much older. So some of his brothers and sisters are like his parents,
Mm,
because they're so um maybe 5, 6 years older than him, but they help raise each other.
mm-hmm,
And his parents are much, much older, like 70s, and
mm,
everyone takes care of them now. And when
right.
you said the three amigos, that reminds me of me and my brother and sister. That's funny. We're like that, even though our parents are still with us. We still, joking and clowning on the video chat nowadays. know that whole thing. And even though you said one thing that's real interesting too. You said that you can't assume, and people know, like, you have to tell them. And that, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. Hmm.
Yeah. Gotta give folks roses while they're here, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
so you don't regret it when they're gone and like, man, I should have said this and I should have did that. It's a really interesting thing because it's only been like last Monday, it made a month from the day that I buried my father. So it's
Hmm.
still fresh to me. And it's fresh to everybody. And and now I think that's one of the things that just kind of make us be a little bit closer, I think, and take a little bit more time because since I live with her, it's easy to be like, oh, I see her every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see her every day, but do you connect with her every day? Do you
Right.
talk? Do you really talk? Do you really, you know what I'm saying? Or do you just pass by each other? And I'm kind of determined not to, because I'm real bad with that.
Hmm.
I don't mean no harm by it, but I will just kind of pass you by and be like, oh, okay, hey, what's up? Da, 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 da. And, I'm gone and, you know what I'm saying, and all that good stuff. But to kind of take time to really connect. Thank you. Let me just hit these super chats real quick. Thank you, Ronan, says supporting the Genuine Lioness Energy. Shout out to the Crimson Cure and Nikole, Pomegranate Ali. Evo, thank you, said following my brother Ronan, who next. Thank you guys for the support. So now that we got a few folks in here, I guess we can go ahead and on with the show. And as you all can see, I kind of named this series because I do want it to be a series. And I do eventually want other ladies to feel comfortable enough to join us on the panel to have these types of discussions that we having. And as you guys can see, we're going to talk about how, protecting our families, because a lot of times we only think of men as the protectors of a family. Can you guys hear me? Because I know this microphone is kind of far. Um, that men are the protectors of our families. But what we kind of look over sometimes, especially nowadays, is the manner in which women are to protect their families as well. We do a different kind of protection to our families. And I wanted to kind of flesh that out today with Nikole. Oh, thank you. Says support the Crimson Cure. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Happy holidays. Yeah, I second that motion. Thank you so much, Nikole, for that.
Welcome.
Um, So I just wanted to kind of have this conversation today about all the different ways in which women do the protecting, because we have things to protect. Men usually protect what's physical. Some danger or somebody coming at you or something like that is usually the men will spring into action and try to protect his family. But women have a protection to do that is more subtle. Emotional protection, spiritual protection, the protection of the wealth of the household, the protection of the image of her family. All of these different things, I think, fall into the category of feminine protection. Um, so I'm gonna start running my mouth and ask Nikole what she's had, what your thoughts are on protecting.
I agree. I mean, I think with the feminine, when it comes to protection, like, yeah, we have to get out of the idea of connotating a word with an image, like a direct image, so much all the time. The word protection and guidance is sometimes those two things are a lot of times seen as a masculine role. And it has to stay there. But like you just said, there are different ways to protect your family. As a female, different from a man, as there should be. It should be different for a female to do what she does versus what a man does. You know, one way a woman, in my opinion, I always think about stuff like this when it comes to like my grandma, you know, and her generation, and even my mom sometimes, but mostly my grandmother, which shows you that there's a gap in the behavior of women. You know, my grandmother, when it came to the image of the family, you was not going outside the house looking a mess. You was not going
Mm-hmm.
outside the house looking like a skeezer trollop skank. Um, in her day, you were supposed to wear stockings everywhere you went, and dresses and lace gloves, dainty gloves and stuff, and ear bobs, because she didn't believe in having your ears pierced, so ear bobs, right? That was
Okay.
her thing. Um, and I realized later actually that my grandma had a little lioness in her, like protection in a different way, where she actually stood up for her little sister and got a reason why she has to wear ear bobs to this day, because she fought a girl off of her sister and she ripped her earrings out
Mm.
of her ears. So that was another form of protecting her sister's, her sister's, basically her sanctity, because as the story went, the girl was claiming that my grandmother's little sister was out here trying to steal her man, and she was not, and she was
Mm.
still a virgin, a 12-year-old versus a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And right. And so, and everyone knew that this girl was the skeezer of the town.
Like, oh, girl,
And,
bye.
and everybody was like, yeah, whatever, and she was like, she kept coming at her. So my grandmother stepped in, to protect her. Now, what happened when that situation occurred? Because I talked to my grandmother, a lot, but her brother Nathan, older, was like, I'm not gonna help you. You need to fight your battles. This is between you women folk.
Mm-hmm.
You need to protect your little sister. She's like, why you can't help me? No, you need to do that. It's gonna look a certain way if I do it versus if
Mm-hmm.
you do it. There's a different touch there. There's a different image, the way it comes off.
Yeah.
And she said you also need to have more respect for yourself and respect for women who deserve it. Like, that's pretty much what I was getting from that whole story. Like, this is what you need to understand, the differences in women.
Yeah.
And so when I mean, she whooped the girl. you know the girl did get she got the best of the girl, but the girl ripped the earrings out. And so to this day, that's always like, I know why. And even though she's classy and everything, and when I have to think of someone that's classy, even in a wheelchair, she's still classy.
Mm.
And that protection, it carries down, to me, my sister, my cousins, my aunties, my mom. and everything. That's just one, I guess, one example of playing a protective role as a female, and having not being afraid, really, just doing what you need to do at that time, you know, pushing that fear to the side, for a moment to get it done.
Yeah. And so you said a lot of things in the relation of that story, and one of them was the not only the physical protection of her family, but the protection of the appearance
Yeah.
uh, of the family. And I think that's one thing where a lot of today's women don't succeed or do very well
Mhm.
is the protection of appearance, because all this week I've been talking about appearance, right, in my live streams.
Yeah.
I thank you, Romello Scuggs. Uh, I've been talking about appearance, and I've been talking about your image, how you come off, how things look, how you appear to other people. And a lot of times we'll have people, well, you shouldn't care what other people think. And that's only true to a certain extent. That's only true to in a certain way.
Mhm.
But in other ways, you do have to pay attention to how other people perceive you or what other people think.
Mhm.
Because how you're perceived will dictate oftentimes how you're treated. Um, and that was one thing with my family. For all of the dysfunction that we had, my mother was very clean
Mhm.
and she was very hygienic, and she made sure that we were poor, but we were never dirty. And
Mhm.
so when we went outside, she wasn't just gonna let us be the little nappy head, snotty nosed kids on the block. You know what I'm saying? We just couldn't be them kids, the kids that ran around all down the street with no shoes and socks on. You know what I'm saying? And all that kind of stuff. Like, we weren't able to do that. You could go outside and play and everything, and that's fine. You come in, you take them little dirty clothes off that you done scrounged around outside in, and you take a bath and stuff like that, and you put on your house clothes or your night clothes or whatever. She made sure my hair was combed, and we were bathed and cleaned, and all of that good stuff. And so that actually instilled that value into me, about being clean. You know what I'm saying? About keeping your house clean, keep your body clean, keep everything looking nice. And that's a part of the appearance as well, because, what I'm saying, going out and being the dirty little kids on the block, she understood that reflected badly on her.
Right.
She was the one that was keeping you dirty. If you are, because you 6, 7, 8, 9 years you're old, that's not on you, that's on her. You know what I'm saying? If you coming outside, raggedy and ridiculous.
Mhm.
And I think that's one thing that women nowadays have trouble with, because they don't keep up their own image. Their own appearance is not up to par. Anytime you make a habit of going outside with a hair bonnet on and pajama pants, they got that real bad in Chicago. I don't know if they do that where you
Me
at,
too. Yeah.
Nikole, but
Yeah, it's real bad here.
I mean, they
Degrees,
need
you
to,
got on
don't
some
let it be the summertime. They
bird
come outside.
pajama pants.
Yeah, girl, with the little
100
fluff, the
degrees out
fluff
here. What you got?
ones.
With
Mm-mm.
look, with the sometimes they have on the when you get a pedicure, you get your toenails done. Some flip flops they give you, it's like paper. Why you still wearing it after like 3 hours? Take that off.
Why do
Why
you
you
have
got
that
that on?
on? They is like paper. They the thinnest little foam piece you ever wanted to see. They got to be getting them wholesale for 20 cents a pack. This is how cheap they are. And you running around here with them on like they real flip flops. Girl,
Yeah.
they come outside and they had them fur house shoes on. Girl, the fur be getting
Oh.
nasty. And then they had them bonnets on, girl, and they musty, they be ashy. And it's
Mhm.
like, girl, you are a female. What happened to a woman's pride in herself? What happened to,
Right.
what I'm saying, going outside and looking presentable? Like, I
Yeah.
want folks to, maybe you're not going outside to have people to flirt with you, but you're going outside and you just look like somebody ought to take you seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go
Yeah.
outside, I don't dress to flirtation. I don't dress sexily or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
but I'm clean, I'm put together, I'm color coordinated. You know what I'm saying? I'm all of that
Mhm.
good stuff. I smell good, I look clean, I don't look ashy, I don't look like I'm musty. Like, ooh, girl, your Uber, you get into your Uber, it stank. Like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that
Gotta
to
keep your
me.
arms to your side all day long. I keep my arms down. I ain't sure.
Right, you put your arms down, drive like this. What I'm saying? I don't want you to, get wild and start turning. I want you to be right like this now. You know what I'm saying? I make sure that it's vacuumed. I make sure that the car is clean on the inside,
Mhm.
the outside. It's got an air freshener on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll never be able to rate me and say, woo, she get a 1-star rating with that nasty little funky little car I had to get in.
And that's real funny because like um when I heard Kevin Samuel say this, and I heard it before he said it, and he said it many times. I ain't got, I mean, people say what they want to say about him, but the man know what he's talking about. So when it comes to chemistry and science and how we are anatomically put together to absorb each other's energy, he's right on point. Because when you have a certain smell as a female, especially, you actually imprint on people that particular scent, that energy, the essence that you are carrying around with you. And that's
Yes.
very important. Um, a man in his right mind, and I know there's a lot of them out there, men who are in their right mind can recognize when a woman smells good when she's put together, like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
when she is not necessarily dressed to impress, but she's dressed to, meet the world in the right way. You ain't gotta be casket sharp every day. That's tiring.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But especially now with COVID with these masks, I don't know where you're gonna put that makeup on it. I guess
Girl.
your eyes, just your
I
eyes is
stopped
really all you
wearing
can do.
lipstick outside because you take that mask off, it just looked like painted inside of it. So I just
Right.
didn't bother.
I gave up with that. I do clear lip gloss. I buy all the clear lip gloss every time I go in the store. I can just get all the clear lip gloss they got. I said
Yeah,
this is all I can do.
yeah. I just
But
keep the lip balm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, yeah, I have the Carmex going, but but everybody everybody has their own essence. Everybody has their own energy that they give off, and to me, the clothing is icing on the cake because your personality should shine through. You should be able to, and your the way you were raised, the way you were um conditioned. If you were conditioned properly, raised properly, that should shine through the way you talk to people. I'm sure women who will carry themselves a proper way have probably had this happen where, like, yesterday I'm pushing the basket to the little the stand where they put the carts, the baskets and stuff, and I'm pushing it there, and the guy just said, "Oh, I'll get that, I'll get that." I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you." It has a lot, not just necessarily to do with how you dress, how you smell. It also has to do with how you carry yourselves, ladies.
Yes.
Walking with confidence, shoulders back, head up. I took ballet
Mhm.
when I was real little, and so we had to remember that the way you place your feet when you walk, don't walk like a Clydesdale. Okay,
Ooh,
you're
walk
not
out
no
with
you're
the
not
baby
no
calf.
Budweiser,
Yeah.
Budweiser horse. Okay, you carry a Budweiser somewhere cross
Right.
country, land and country. What you doing? Like, no, we had to walk like when I was younger. My mother, because we took etiquette courses and stuff like that. She actually would put a book, World Book Encyclopedia, on our head, and we would walk from one side of the house to the other side of the house or
Mm.
down the hall. So when Nicole Michelle has talked about stuff like that, I remember doing that myself. And it was not because my mom was trying to make us prissy. It was because she was instilling in us, you need to carry yourself, your image, the way that um, a woman should come in, she should light up the room, no matter what you have on. You want to wear something nice. Now, don't get me
Right,
wrong.
right, right. You're
You
right.
want to
You
look
want to
nice,
be
smell nice,
nice looking, but
but
your energy is what's really
energy,
the
right?
thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She said, my mom always said there's two ways to wear an outfit. You can wear it like a lazy Sally, which is a nice word for a prostitute, or you can wear it like a distinguished woman, like a woman who deserves to be taken care of. Do you want to be taken care of, or do you want to be out there in the street?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be in the street. I don't want to be in the street. She's like, well, good. You want to be taken care of, so you got to dress a certain way. And she would literally, like, with we wore those velvet dresses, around Christmas, like velveteen type,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
materials and velveteen, and with
Mm-hmm.
the big satin ribbons and all that. And she would say, now, without the ribbon, how do you feel? It just feels like something's missing. And she's like, let's
Mm-hmm.
put the ribbon on. Now, how do you feel? Around the bodice area of the dress.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of them. I had a purple one.
I had a red one, a black one. I had all different colors. We had to sing in the choir. So if I had all the different color dresses, I couldn't stand them dresses. But I felt like, I felt girly when I had it on. I felt, nice, and it was festive, it was for parties and stuff like that. And she was like, well, how do you feel with the ribbon on? How does it feel now? I said, oh, it feels nice. It feels really nice. And that ribbon actually was not just for later on, I realized it wasn't just for decor. That ribbon was to keep your midsection upright. You had no choice but
Mm-hmm.
to walk upright because that thing was kind of like a
Almost
corset
like
almost,
a corset. Mm-hmm.
getting you in the mode of walking
With
more
your back straight.
confidently
Mm-hmm.
with your back. Exactly. That's what it was. But I'm gonna stop right there. My bad.
No, 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 no. We enjoy your storytelling because it always brings out these awesome points. Just let me take a little moment out to welcome everybody, my newcomers. Hey, MLR, Green Machine, Third Ward. Hey, Miss Jackson. Hey, Father's Time. Hey, everybody that joined in. Thank you to everyone. But yeah, what you were talking about brought up some really, really awesome points about teaching your daughter about her image as a young woman. And this is actually one of the ways that women protect their family's image and appearance, by teaching the children what that appearance should be and why it is important. Although we never did the whole like book on the head, because my mother wasn't necessarily sophisticated like that, but she did know certain things because she's a baby boomer. So you sit a certain way as a girl. You couldn't sit, gap your legs open. She was like, no, 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 not no daughter of mine. So you learn to smooth your skirt, wear a slip. Back in the day, so she had you
Right.
a slip on,
Yeah.
where you slip under your dress and at least cross your legs at the ankle if you're
Yep.
not going to cross them somewhere else, because we was taught as little that crossing them at the knee was for adult women
Hmm.
and crossing them at the ankle was for children. So she taught me, you sit with your legs closed, sit with your legs crossed at the ankle, sit with your back straight, don't slump or hunch, don't do all of that. And when you go places, girls are quiet. Girls are quiet. Um, Girls are not these loud and rambunctious people. We were taught, uh, don't speak until spoken to, and you
Hmm.
should be seen and not heard. Uh, I learned how to walk because I have my father's walk, which you can imagine is a masculine type of walk, because my father had a swagger with his walk, a natural kind of pimp with his walk. And I picked it up because I'm his daughter and I was the one that got his walk. And I learned how to walk. I'm going to tell you when I learned how to really walk. I was in college, yes, all the way as a freshman in college. I was 18. And no, I had turned 19. I think I turned 19. No, I was still 18. And this really, really tall, statuesque, very dark skinned young lady who was like a junior in college or whatever, and a soror. I forgot what sorority she was in. Um, they were recruiting for models, for runway models, because she wanted to start like a modeling agency, and she was trying to like get some practice with that. And
Hmm.
so she picked me out of a crowd. We was at UIC. So UIC is a huge university in Chicago. And she picks me out of a crowd, and I'm gonna tell you what I had on. At that time in my life, I was wearing a short fade. So my hair was cut very short. I was rocking like a fade back when it wasn't popular for girls to do that. And I look cute with it too. I ain't gonna lie, I look cute with it. And I had on a polo type shirt with some jean shorts, like short pants, baggy. All my clothes was baggy. All my clothes was baggy. I was so masculine. All my clothes was baggy. And she stopped me. I was headed, it was after class, and I was headed to lunch or whatever. And she stopped me. She said, may I speak to you for a moment? So I'm looking like, what this chick want? So I go over and like, okay. She said, yeah, I'm recruiting for models and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And she's like, you are so beautiful. And at first I thought she was trolling me because this woman, mind you, is gorgeous that's talking to me. Gorgeous. Just skin like hematite almost. It was just this shine like ebony. She was and she had to be about 6'2", flat-footed with no heels on.
Wow.
And body like an hourglass. She was just a beautiful woman. I still remember her. Like, that was how beautiful she was. And I thought she was trolling me. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? You recruiting for a model? Girl, get out of my face. She's like, no. And I didn't say that, but I'm looking at her like, girl. And she's like, no, you're beautiful. She was like, I can see like all of this in you. Like, you're gorgeous. She was like, do you want to come to the tryouts? And I said, yeah, well, what the heck? So I can come to the tryout. I ain't doing nothing but studying and chilling in my room because I was such a homebody. I would chill in my room. You know what I'm saying? I done studied and ate some chips and got some Subway, and I'm chilling. And so I showed up for the tryouts. And so she had a guy there, older guy, alphabet community, but he was real cool. And he was coaching the girls on how to walk. And so I kind of needed coaching, you know what I'm saying, on the walk, because I didn't know about how models were really walked. That church modeling is not modeling. So she wanted like haute couture type, you know what I'm saying, walks or whatever. So that's when he was coaching the girls on to see how many of us could nail a runway walk. So it was my turn in the group. And so he was like, okay, let me see a natural walk. So I'm walking, and of course I walk like my dad. And he's like, you got a swagger to your walk, but let's womanize that a little bit because it's looking a little manly. So let's make it a woman. Let's turn that walk into a woman's walk. I said, well, okay. So he's the one that put like a stick, like a just a ruler, just a regular ruler, in the back of my jeans. He stuck it there. He said, don't let that ruler not touch that part of your spine. Okay. I said, okay. He said, now put your shoulders back and put your head up. And I want you to put literally one foot directly in front of the other. That's what I want you to do. So I said, dang, you got a lot of rules. So I'm like, okay, let me do it. So when I did it, at first it didn't feel natural, of course. But I walked down and I came back. He said, that walk is awesome. So he took the ruler out. He said, now pretend the ruler is there and walk. So I walked down the runway and catwalk and came back. He said, oh my God. He said, if I wasn't who I was, you'd have had me with that walk. He was like, you so sexy. He's like, look at God. We done turned you from masculine to sexy and just that fast. He's like, you so sexy. He's like, that's a sexy walk. And ever since then, I said, ooh, let me walk like that all the time. And that is my story of how I learned how to tip like a Maltese cat. So now I can tip anywhere in heels, flats, gym shoes. It don't matter what I got on. If you catch me coming down a straight, I'm gonna tip like a Maltese cat, baby. So that's how I learned to improve the appearance and come across more feminine, especially with my walk. That taught me a lot. Now I will revert back to my dad's walk when I'm doing Uber, because when I get in and out of the car or whatever, I don't want nobody to be like, oh my God, look at her. I don't want to be looked at like that. I don't want to be looked at. It's weird, but yeah, when I'm just regular, like, yeah, they be like, yeah, that's a walk right there. Said it's mean right there. So I'm gonna stop with my
Yeah.
modeling
No,
story.
man, that's a good story right there. I mean, you had it in you. It's like you were a diamond in the rough, but it takes a certain person to recognize that and bring that out, bring that out of you. It was there all the time, but you have to do a little bit of sculpting and molding, a little pushing and pulling and tugging, and
Yeah.
having the um physical assistance there with the ruler help a
Because I
lot.
needed
And I
it.
think, yeah, some people really need that. And it's so simple, but it made such a huge difference and such a huge impression on them. These are professionals. So yeah, that's a good story right there because for many reasons, because you don't know how many other girls saw that, maybe passing by or whatever. Like maybe I don't know if you were in like a closed place or something, but I'm just thinking like other people saw that like, dang,
Mhm.
and tried to emulate that themselves. Probably going out buying a ruler and say, okay, I need to try to like get that, some kind of way, which is good, and I think that's another thing when it comes to women and protection, not only because we were talking about somewhat of nurturing earlier, the woman being nurturing, but also being a symbol of being a feminine woman, the
Right.
symbol of being feminine and the something that a girl can look up to or even a peer can look at and say, that's something that what she's doing is something that I need to work on. I need to hone in on. The problem comes when that little demon called jealousy starts to slide in
Mm-hmm.
instead of your little friend that's called I need help. I need help with this problem where I need help to improve upon this behavior. The other one come in like what she thinks she doing. She can't even walk that good. She just showed up yesterday. What she talking about? I don't even look at them shorts. Look at them shorts she got on. Still smell like Subway. Got chip crumbs on the mouth.
Right. You study.
Chip crumbs on the mouth. She don't know what she doing. Eating Lay's. Who eats Lay's? Just making up stuff in their head, like just to be jealous, just for the sake of being jealous. Like sit your behind down. That type of stuff. I'm like, really? So yeah, like being an image and being a symbol of doing what a woman is expected to do, what men expect a woman to do, and also what women have been doing for so long. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, a natural, not to be cliche, a natural woman. You know, nothing is wrong with that.
Nothing at all. In fact, before I go in, thank you, Father Time said, walk to me, walk from me, walk by me, just walk. um, but that definitely, that learning how to be feminine, that understanding that femininity is integral, I think, to knowing how to protect yourself and your family in all of these different ways. Because it was those moments, like, I would not give up. I remember fondly that short stint as a model with them, because these were the girls that was going to be your 92s. Okay. These were the degreed soror. That was that group. And they were all very beautiful in each in their own way. And to kind of hang with those girls, I was able to look past what the facade might have been. Oh, they think that they're this and they think that they're that. Actually, they were really down to earth and they were just really cool girls. They just happened to be very beautiful and popular, or whatever.
Right.
And and they were intelligent. They were smart girls. But also, I gained a camaraderie with them because I brought a flavor to them that they weren't really used to, because they were the ones that grew up in the two parent suburbs, that kind of upbringing, and I did not have that. So I had a rawness about me that they were like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's interesting. That's a kind of an interesting take, but they liked it. It's like, man, she's really real, you know what I'm saying? Like and they taught me a lot about a feminine image. They taught me a
Mm-hmm.
lot about that image. My clothing choices changed because of being around them. Um, I had always been a thrifter. I don't have no shame in going to a thrift store, because you go to the right thrift store,
Right.
you can come up on some stuff with some tags on it, with the brand on it. Okay, you really can come, especially you go downtown to the thrift store. They got all kind of stuff down there. But
You're right. Bring
mhm,
that
and
vibe.
they do, and as a college kid, you ain't have no money. So,
No.
you take $20 and you go to the thrift store, you can actually rack up, because shirts is 50 cents and this one is $1.50
Mhm.
and that's that kind of thing. So I started going to these little thrifting boutiques and stuff like that, and getting like skirts and shirts and putting together. They actually sharpened my fashion sense for me, because I didn't really have one. It was like, okay, just wear whatever. Um, and it was from being around them that I picked up a lot of more feminine qualities. I'd always been clean and put together, but it wasn't necessarily feminine, though. It was kind of masculine, more or
Right.
less. And so, I got more into the maxi skirts and the dresses and the scarves. And, that's when I started doing the Erica Badu thing and you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. And they helped me transform to something, and I felt a lot better. And so I'm saying that to get to a point, so bear with me.
No,
Um,
I'm listening.
Learning about how to tap into my feminine energy more, because I had not been taught that really, um, helped me to help me to get married.
Mhm.
And I was always kind of in a position where other people saw more in me than I could recognize. And my late husband was one of those people. He was like, oh man, no. And I gotta make you my wife. Like, you're my wife. Period. Like I said, 2 weeks. We talked on the phone 2 weeks. We never had alone time. We never had any type of intimacy prior to getting married. We never would, none of that. Everything that we did, everything that we said was chaperoned and all of that good stuff. And we ended up getting married, and I started learning how to protect my family from a mentor. She was an older lady, older Muslim lady. I'll never forget her. She passed away years ago, but she was of the silent generation, and she taught me how to be a wife. I'll never forget that woman. May Allah put light in her grave. I'll never forget that woman. And she taught me how to be a wife, and she taught me how to protect. And the first thing that she taught me how to protect myself and my husband, she said, protect them spiritually. First, you have to be spiritually strong, and you have to be able to recognize a spiritual attack when you see one, because he might not see it. She said, and the other thing that you have to do is you have to protect him from anything like that. So what you do is you keep each other on your toes. You have to be on your square before you can do that, though. You can't be off your square trying to tell him nothing. So what you do is you continue to be an example. You feed into that energy in the household. You keep the household spiritually pure and good. You keep the energy of the house good. You keep it peaceful. You keep it without all of this toxicity and this chaos, and you keep it without all of this craziness. Like, don't do that to your home. And that's how you protect your home. That's how you protect your husband spiritually, because when he come to your home where you are directing that spiritual energy, he have to be able to relax there and put his guard down there.
Mhm. Yeah, he has to be comfortable, but not vulnerable to a lot of the onslaught of what's going on outside, being comfortable in your home, in the home that you have excuse me, put together and built as a woman. Yeah, extremely important. Just having peace is very important. Like I've said several times, like as soon as the man comes in talking to him about this and that, he ain't listening to you. He's not paying you any attention. Like
No,
it's going in one ear and out the other. First of all, he hasn't eaten anything, and snacks on the road don't mean nothing.
no, they do not.
And I know because I pack them. And he's like, man, those snacks ain't really hit me. It ain't hit me. I mean, because you have to remember, we drive 2.5, 3 hours sometimes to get home in the evening. So that's gum. Like you can forget that. But and then you definitely don't want to get in his face when he can smell the food. Like what are you
Oh,
doing?
that's the wrong,
He
the
looking behind you and you keep why you looking over there? Why you looking over there? We need to talk. We need to talk. And you doing
wrong.
the snake charmer, got your head going left to right.
Right, like
He looking to the right and left. He looking around you, looking above you, trying to move your arms to the side. Don't do that. That's just wrong. Because you're gonna get snapped at. You doing the neck twirl and like, why you looking over there? What's up? Who's
Mhm.
over there? It's my food. That's who.
You're
Let
right.
him
I'm looking
calm
past
down.
you. Hmm.
Right. Let him calm down. Let him, take a shower, do whatever he does to calm down, and then, things can progress on. Like first of all, if you jumping in his face when you walk in the door, clearly he's assuming something's wrong. He already
Hmm.
fought a bunch of fires outside. Now he got to fight fires in the house.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No, it's not.
And you're not being, subconsciously that will beat down on anybody, but especially a man because they're not built to really deal with all your issues you got going on. You got to learn how to deal with that and or at least after he's relaxed and present that information in a certain way, because women we have a tendency to like, we got a clipboard, a laundry list of stuff, and
Mhm.
clipboard, we got a little pen, the pen with the feathers on it, you know, and we flicking the little feathers around. Well, I just had one. I got one more thing. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, and one more thing. And they're like, what the hell? Like, I thought you said you got three things, like 10 things on that list. Well, come on, man. Like, I want to watch the game. Like
Right.
you running down this list, and like he's gonna feel he doesn't feel comfortable. He doesn't feel comfortable to tell you something that's probably really important on his mind that he's been thinking
Hmm.
about. So how you gonna, how are you sharing information with each other? He's has to be he's vulnerable outside the house and he's uncomfortable at home. But after some time, that's causing a man to be like, do I want to go in the house? I don't even know who's gonna be in there.
Right.
Like, like the joke, I think it was Richard Pryor or something. But one of the older comedians said, they come in the house, they gotta look and see which way the wind blowing. Gotta see who's in there first, like who's in here
Mhm.
today, That's not cool. That's
No,
not cool.
it's not. It's not. And you know, to say what to bring up the point that you're saying, I was very, very guilty of this as a young wife. I was guilty of everything that you said, and then wondering why I was having problems,
Yeah.
wondering why he upset, wondering why there's an argument, a little argument here and a tiff there and an unease there and an unease there. And I brought it to my mentor. I said, "Ooh, he being so mean," because women, we gonna paint it according to our emotions. So I'm saying, "Oh, he being so mean, he just come in and he arguing, blah blah blah," and I ain't doing nothing. And she said, "You're not doing nothing." So explain to me what you actually do, play by play, blow by blow, usually, typically, when he come in. And I started saying, well, I talked to him, and then she said, so you talking to that man right when he come in, and what are you talking about exactly? Just telling him about my day and da 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 da. She said, wrong answer. Wrong answer.
Mhm.
Why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to talk to him. She said, okay, that's fine that you trying to talk to your husband. She said, but are you doing things according to how they should go? Or you doing stuff you want to do? Which one you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. And she like, that's the problem. You don't know what you're doing. So this is why you having issues and problems, and the little problems is starting to turn into a big one. She said, so this is what you do, baby. And she really had to like baby step me. And it took a while because there are times I can be hard headed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a little minute, for me to actually understand that what she's talking about is right, because I'm young and stupid and don't know how to be no wife. I didn't never have no good example of it anyway. So, I have my little destructive stuff that I learned how to do, but that really shouldn't have been done. And I'm fighting through that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, she's trying to give me advice. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I guess. And then the moment that I implemented what she said, because I'm going to tell you what she did. She said, if you come over here one more again, because I used to go over her house every weekend and, help her clean up and stuff like that, because she wasn't real mobile. So I would clean up the house and help her cook. Now, the helping her cook, I'm put that in quotes, because she cooked, she had you smack somebody, okay, with a deli sandwich. That's how good she could. She can make you
Wow.
a lunch meat sandwich and make you question who you are on the inside. Okay. So when
That's
I
good.
did,
That's good right there.
and I'll be like, how
Mm-hmm.
is you making this food taste like that? She said, girl, I ain't did none of that food. Like, yes, you did. But so the
Mm-hmm.
last time, I'm gonna tell you what really made me implement it, because sometimes I gotta be threatened. So she said, come in here one more weekend and tell me how that man arguing with you, and you're gonna have a problem with me. So my eyes got big as saucers. So I'm like, what you mean? She said, no, you ain't did what I told you to do. That's your problem. Do what I said, and then you will see an improvement, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Yeah. You said yes, ma'am, last time. I want you to do it, or you gonna have a problem with me. I'm like, okay, I ain't want that smoke. So what I did was that next day when he came in, I implemented what she said to the T. I didn't get in his face. I didn't try to quote unquote tell him about my day and bombard him with all this other stuff. I sat back and chilled out is what I did, because I get hyper and all bouncing around and all the energy is just everywhere. And it's like, no, calm down, sit down and be quiet is what I need you to do right now. And when I did all of that, guess what happened?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have no stupid argument that night.
There you go. Look at God.
Look at God. We didn't have no stupid argument.
The clouds opened up and came out.
And the sunlight shone through, and you heard the angels,
Right.
because
You're
you
like, dang,
stopped
that
being
old woman was right.
to get something done.
That old woman was right. Mm.
The old lady was right. They're like, oh, okay. So, just learning these lessons, and I'm saying that for the younger ladies that may or may not have anyone that's teaching them how to do this stuff. Because
True.
I needed somebody to teach me how to do it. I didn't come out the womb knowing this stuff. Me and Nikole had to learn what to
Yeah,
do. Uh,
definitely. I had to learn, man. I was like, this ain't working. Like something wrong, And I had to start thinking back to what my mom would do. And like she would be cooking and whatnot. And we're sitting there doing our homework at the table or something. And um and like when we got off the bus, we'd go to our grandma's house first. So she give us snacks and stuff. My mom would get off and she would come pick us up from there, take us home. So if we got in trouble, we got a whipping from my grandma because the bus driver was a snitch. got a whip- we got, bus driver knew everybody's parents and stuff. She was a snitch. Miss Campbell. But then we got a whooping with our grandma, a whooping from my mom at my grandma's house, and my grandma rooting her on. Then got a whooping when we got home. My dad came home. We got to sit down and we sore and do our homework, and then wait for him to get home, and then he give us another whooping. So usually, like, she didn't tell him none of that until like all the way through dinner. And she's like, I'm gonna give y'all a break. Y'all can get a what she called respite, and give y'all a slight respite, a slight break, and then you're gonna see what's gonna happen. Fire coming around next time. I'm like, what? I don't know what she meant by that. And then after getting whoopings like that, I realized, man, fire next time is dad. My dad coming now. But she didn't bring it up. Like, as soon as he walk in, can you believe what these kids did? Can you believe this? Da, 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 da. Nope, she didn't do that. She's like, oh, you want to taste this? This your favorite? She always make his favorite food when he's gonna give us a whooping. I was like, this is weird. But she's like, make his favorite food. Like, everything was his favorite food, I guess. But she's like, beef stew, collard greens, like chicken, whatever, like freaking whole Thanksgiving dinner on a Wednesday night, something like that. It's like all laid out. I'm like, something wrong with this. Like, you got a full feast and knowing he gonna whoop us. Like, this ain't right. This ain't right. She said he need his energy. I'm like, what?
I need no energy.
And so she was like, oh, taste this gravy. And he tasted, oh, that's good. Let me hurry up and get washed up and everything. And I'll come eat. And we sit here like, he like, hey, how y'all doing? We sit there looking like struggling, looking at the corner of our eye, not even moving our head, like scared the whole time. It was like torture. But she made sure, like, she's like, look, basically, later on in life, like I was in college, in high school and college, she was telling us, like, if it comes to me making sure that man got what he needed, then y'all gonna sit there and suffer because you did wrong. You gonna sit there and you gonna suffer. You gonna mill and mill and mill. When he decides that he gonna whip y'all, that he gonna whip you. I'm not gonna tell him when. I'm not gonna tell him how. But I am gonna tell him what you did. And when I tell him what you did, he already know you got 2 whoopings. So it's really up to his discretion whether he gonna whoop you again or not. Sometimes he didn't whip us right. Sometimes he would wait. It'd be like a Wednesday, and it's Saturday morning. He like, well, time to go, y'all. Let's get outside. Let's hit it. What? What you talking about? What you talking about? We're like, let's hit it. It's time for that whooping. What?
I'm like, well, I thought I got away with that.
Yes. And he's like, oh, you thought you got away with it. He's like, he's slapping the belt. He thought you got away with it. And I'm like,
the worst whoopings
I got away with it, but I thought you forgot. I don't forget nothing. I'm too old to forget. I mean, that's the type of stuff we went through. Mom was like, hey, y'all, it's called crime and punishment. Do the crime, you gonna get the time. And this is what it is. And she said, it don't matter if it come right now or come later, but it's gonna come. But she did not want to sacrifice his peace of mind. And because if we had done wrong, of course, it wouldn't have happened that way, but we did wrong. And she's like, I'm not the one to, she nurtured us afterwards. Oh, it's okay, baby. It's all right. I'm looking at her like, you traitor.
Like, you traitor dog. Don't you come over here trying to pick me up. You set me up for the whooping.
Yeah, batting him up to whoop us.
Right. And you whooped us already. And, and we got in trouble. How many times we got to get in trouble for the same thing?
Yeah. Right. It's like, this is crazy. This is just redundant over and over for the same thing. And one thing for me, my sister a little more hard-headed. For me, like, whatever it was, I never did it again. I never even thought about it. I was like, ooh, y'all better not do that. Ooh, I was like a slave, straight up. Ooh, he gonna catch y'all. He gonna catch y'all. And don't do that no more. They like, why you so scared? My eyes big. Why you so scared? Well, you just don't want to do that. You understand? You just don't want to do that.
I remember the consequences for that. And
I was like, I can't be around. I can't be around this. I can't be around this criminal activity. I have to go.
I need plausible deniability. I can't be around this.
That's the fear of God.
The worst whooping in the world was when my daddy gave you. Yeah, because he didn't do it often. My daddy didn't do it often.
True.
But when he did, that's when you knew You had really messed up then when daddy be like, yeah, bring it on over here because we not even going to play that game. But see, sometimes daddy would just talk to you. And sometimes I don't know which was worse, the talk or the whooping. Because the talk, for me at least, would make me feel so ashamed. I would just be ashamed after he would get through talking, and because he would run it down so smooth to me. You know what I'm saying? And it would be like, now do you see why that was messed up? Why you shouldn't do that? And why we was mad at you for that? Don't you understand? You know, that he would go in depth about how, and I would just be sitting there like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I would be feeling like the worst person in the world. Like,
Yeah.
man, this what be going on, man. All I did was sneak the chocolate milk that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. Like, I didn't even know it was like that. Like, man,
Yeah.
okay, well, I ain't gonna do that no more because, you know, man, that talking to was rough. I almost preferred the whooping.
Yeah. That's what I felt too. Like oof, yeah. He talked to you, he'd be like, I'm sitting here looking at my little, my little watch and everything, like, you know, it's on my right wrist because I'm left-handed. He hold my left hand, like, I'm looking at my little watch, like, Daddy, I gotta get up and go to work, about to say go to work, go to school tomorrow, because for him, your schooling was your work. That's what he was saying. Y'all going to work, okay? Going to school was your job to him. That was your work. And I was like, oh, I gotta get up. I gotta go to school. Gotta go to school tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
is that all you wanted to tell me? No, I ain't. That's not all I want to tell you. Then you start squeezing my hand. I'm like, oh God.
Hello, here it come. Lord,
I sit there. I really wanted to say so many times, like, can I just get a whooping? Like, this is just
Mm-hmm.
irritating. This is so hard. And then he was like, if you say something while he talking, he make you stand up. Stand up, stand up.
Yeah,
Like,
now you ain't
you
listening.
gotta
You
stand
running your
there and
mouth.
you gotta stand there, your head dripping down, your head keep drooping, like you getting sleepy. What your head drooping for? I gotta go to school tomorrow. Nope, you ain't gotta go to school.
And
It's not
keep
about that.
complaining
You did what you
about
did.
what you got to do. Keep
He
on.
would get
Do
so mad. And my mom was like, y'all done with y'all conference in there? Y'all done with y'all meeting in there? It would be like, I think we're done. We ain't done. And then he would actually, like, my mom was like, well, she got to go to bed. Okay, I go to bed. Next time I'm doing chores, which probably the next day, I'm doing chores or whatever. He gonna sit in the chair talking. Well, I want to continue our conversation.
Like, come on. Can I
Like,
just get the
oh.
whooping?
I'm
At least
like,
the
dude,
whooping
can
would
I
have
just
been
get
over
whooped?
with.
Yeah. He like, you know what? You're like, he pulled the chair up. I just got, you know what? I think we need to continue this conversation. Got his mason jar with tea in there. Oh, need to continue this conversation. Go ahead. Do what you're doing. You cleaning up? Yeah, that's
Right.
good.
Keep on mopping.
Moving the
You
bones. That's
can hear
good.
me.
Yeah, moving the bones. Yeah. But I'm gonna have. I got something to say. He always had that freaking cigar unlit. He just sitting here talking, and he's like, "When you get older and you get trying to get married, you keep doing this stuff. Ain't no man gonna want you. You gonna be
Oh,
out there."
that was the one that hit
Like,
you with. Ain't no man gonna want you. You know,
I'm
hard head.
like, what?
You don't do what you told. You put stuff in jeopardy. No man want to deal with that.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, I'm 10 years old. I don't even know nothing
Right.
about man.
Kids.
Like, what?
Like, man, I didn't think. I was like, well, I don't really think that has to do with me because, oh, you don't like boys, huh? Like, no, I didn't say all that. Like, my dad was like, and you ask him today, he'd be like, I ain't even say all that. Yes, you did. We had witnesses. Because my sister was standing there looking like, this is crazy. This is just crazy. She'd be standing there laughing. That's how it was. Like, and my mother, the thing about my mom, she did not interfere. And I see now, like with younger people that are, young parents and stuff, like I see the interference when that type of correction is occurring, even though it might be long term or short term correction. When the dad is doing that, a lot of times the younger people, the mom is jumping in. I'm like, why are you stepping in?
Interfering
You
with
know,
that. Leave it alone.
this man, even if they are your children and not his children, that correction is still necessary. He ain't beating on the child and nothing like that. He's sitting here talking to the child, giving them direction, giving them some guidance. on what needs to be done. And in that way, by stepping back, you're actually indirectly protecting your child
Mm-hmm.
as a woman.
You are.
You're stepping back. You stepping back and playing your role, playing your position is, in my opinion, indirectly protecting your child because you're letting the father do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not interfering in that. You're not giving your opinion. Oh, you're being too hard on them. Oh, no, no. Sit down.
Yeah, sit down,
That's
especially in
how they
front of
do
the
that.
child,
Yeah.
not presenting a uniform front in front of the
Right.
child, undermining his parental authority in front of a
Yes.
kid. Even if you disagree, you can keep that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Well, I thought you might have been a little hard. You can say that in the bedroom at night when can't nobody hear you but him. You might have
Right.
that discussion. But you're right. That's a way to protect your children by allowing the functional things in your household to actually function the way that they should, so that the outcome can be what the outcome needs to be. And that's a protection within the family. And you were mentioning about feeding your dad and stuff like that. And that's
Mhm.
another area of protection. And we kind of talked about this last time. The
Mhm.
so I won't go too far into it. The protection of your family's health through what they eat, through all the things, because we were made to go outside. And I know kids nowadays don't really do that as like we did, but bike riding, basketball playing, rope jumping, all of that was part and parcel of the summertime and the
Oh, yeah.
weekends. Okay, you got a bike, you bought a new bike, and don't let you be little. You had a big wheel. Come
Mm.
on, man. Listen, you had a big wheel. You was on to something because I had a Spider-Man big wheel, okay? I never used that big wheel. I had a Spider-Man big wheel with blue and the little seat was red, okay? And it had Spider-Man on the back. And Spider-Man was one of my favorite cartoons because I used to watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Yes, I'm telling my age. Whatever. I used to watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and I had me a Spider-Man big wheel, honey. And my brother had him no, by the time I had a big wheel, he was too big for a big wheel because my brother 5 years older than me. So he was too big for a big wheel. So he
Mhm.
had his bike, and I would be trucking behind him with that big wheel. Well, you can tell me nothing about that little big wheel that I had. So, we had all of those things. And I think that was a protection of our health, just to make us go and run and play, you know what I'm saying? Or take us to the park where we could swing and run and jump. Because I think a lot of times ladies will keep their children in the house and then wonder why they're bouncing against the wall. There's nothing wrong with the children. The children are fine. But children have a lot of energy, especially if you feed them sugar cereal in the morning and all of that.
Mhm.
So you got to take them somewhere. You got to take them somewhere, take them to a park, take them so they can run. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what kids want to do. They want to run, they want to jump, they want to fall, they want to get back up, they want to play, they going to play, you know what I'm saying? And all of that kind of stuff. And when you do that, the mothers back in the day used to learn, they used to know the importance of taking the kids to the park. Because
Mhm.
what's going to happen is they run themselves tired. So when they get home, everybody take a bath. Now it's going to be time to eat. You wind down and all of that kind of stuff. You be ready to go to bed then. Don't have to worry about sit down. Why you doing that? What, you done broke something? You know what I'm saying? Because you was outside to do all that running and kicking and flipping and all of that stuff you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So you was outside to do that stuff. And when you come in and I tell you to sit down, you really ain't got no choice but to sit down because I
Right.
let you run and play for hours today. So you got that energy out of you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. I'm
That's
sorry.
when I got no, that's when I got a lot of like all of us kids in the summer especially got a lot of instruction. Like after we would come in and we took a bath. First thing we did, take a bath because we couldn't come in at my grandma's house. Everybody parents going to work and whatnot. So she have an igloo construction worker type of a cooler with the spout on her back porch. And she'd have all the cups, and we had to write our name on these little, red solo cups or the styrofoam cups and stuff, or a mason jar, which was my preference. The mason jar, and we we would have you, especially if we had a mason jar. Okay, so we had that, and she had ice water in that big cooler, and I mean we were in the deep woods, so you like half a mile from the house, you're not coming all the way back to use the bathroom. Yeah, we went outside in the bathroom behind a tree somewhere in the woods. We didn't have parks and all that. I kind of wish we did, but at the same time, we, like you said, we got all the energy out from sun up, sundown. We didn't really have street lights like that. We just had to make it back however we made it back.
Mm,
And wild animals, whatever. We were like, whatever. We got back, and that's when we took a bath. She already had our food ready, and that's when we could get real instruction. Now the instruction that we got from my grandmother, because we tired out, so now we can actually focus on something constructive. She would literally read the Bible to us,
mm.
Proverbs, Psalms. She would
Proverbs,
read
Psalm, the
like
23rd Psalm. I would say I
yeah,
had to memorize that one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She made us memorize a lot of stuff, and we had it was we would have oh Lord, devotion. Yeah, yeah, we'd had devotion, and my grandma had it the high pitched opera voice. God
Mm-hmm.
put rainbow in the sky, and we would sing along, Rock of Ages, and everything. I'm talking about this is summertime, and we singing It's Hot and Humid. All we
Mm-hmm.
got is a ceiling fan on, but that was like very nurturing. We wouldn't be able to sit still like that, and eat and then sing and everything and listen to those scriptures if we were like tired. I mean, if we weren't tired, if we were just like bright and early in the morning, no. We ran outside, we did what we had to do, playing, whatever, and then came back in. And that was like the best. And
Mm-hmm.
then somebody always got a whooping or something happened. Like somebody had to stand in the corner or something. It was always something happening by the end of the day. And and somebody had to go out there. Me and my cousin had to go out there and get the cooler and bring it in, bring the cups in and stuff, and that kind of thing, and set up the bug zapper on the porch, like all this little stuff. But that was her house was set up that way. She had rules and regulations. We had to follow the rules and regulations. If our parents didn't like it, because we had like neighborhood kids to come too. If their parents didn't like it, if their parents are like, "Oh, we atheists," or "Oh, we this," she was like, "I don't know what that is." They gonna hear the scripture of God. They gonna,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna hear the music of God.
Mm-hmm. Because we were raised in the church, honey, so I know
Right.
all of that. And you know, uh,
Yeah.
she wouldn't always just read scriptures to us, but once we
Mhm.
got older, because my mama would wake up 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, get us some coffee, and open up the Bible. And then, when we was older, she'd be like, okay, now you go get the Bible and you read with me this morning. And she wouldn't always do that. And by the way, Father's time said y'all was uppity
I
because
heard that.
he used to drink out the hose.
Yeah.
And
I
I
thought that was up.
had, I had
Wow.
to learn the 23rd Psalms. And once my mother discovered I had a voice, I had to get into the choir.
Wow.
And we would have them nights where they would give me a solo, and she like, you gonna kill this solo. And my mother had more than 3,000 records. Not all of them was gospel, but a good percentage of them were. And so I grew up on Tremaine Hawkins and the Canton Spirituals and the Mighty Clouds of Joy, and you know what I'm saying, and all of that. Like I grew up on all of that. And she would, whatever the solo was, she would be like, okay, now hit it. She would put the record on, and on them 12 inches, if it be a single, they would always have an instrumental version of the song. So she would put it on instrumental. She let me run through it a few times, and she put it on instrumental, hit the cue, and she would time me like, okay, come on, you gotta sing. And she would run me till I got it right. And it wasn't like a taskmaster or anything like that, but she wanted it right because she was, a singer. I got my voice from her. And she was like, you gonna represent, you know what I'm saying, in this church, right? And in this choir, you gonna do this solo, right? And it would be right too that Sunday. And we don't let a church be visiting. I had to kill that solo, and I would
Mhm.
too. And though that was one of the few times where I think she was actually proud of me, and she actually liked it because she liked me singing or whatever because I could. Yeah, the Mississippi Mass Choir. We had the Chicago Cosmopolitan Choir as well, which was real popular too. Brenda, Chicago gospel is like Southern gospel because a lot of the boomers and stuff like that was from the South. So our
Right.
gospel sound like Southern gospel. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
we had the whole all that discipline with the Bible and and all of that kind of stuff. So there was that part of it. And for all of the things that I disliked about my childhood, those were actually the few points that I thought that carried with me, and they were positive things that I
Right.
learned
Yeah.
from my mom and learned from being around the older folks, because my aunts and aunties was old. So they had old folk wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You sit around for a little bit and listen to them talk before they start drinking Henny. You can sit in there before they do that. You know what I'm saying? Once they bust out the Henny, you got to go in the room. But
Right.
before they do that, you sit at their feet and soak up what they saying. You know what I'm saying? And some of it I learned later was a bunch of BS, but not all of it. Some of it was very helpful. I remember those things. And
Mhm.
I think that was part of protecting the home life or the dwelling or making the environment a certain kind of way, because our environment was very toxic, but it was only in those moments where there was actually some type of peace in it. I actually liked getting up with her when she was in that mood and read the
Yeah.
Bible with her, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and read the scriptures with her. And she would test you how much you knew. You know what I'm saying? Well, do you know the story of Daniel? Do you know the story of, you know what I'm saying? Do you know that story? Do you know where to find it in the Bible? Okay, now it's in book such and such, chapter such and such, this the verse. This is where you find that. So those things I remember. You actually jogged my memory with that because I had forgotten some of that stuff. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember that. Like, that was straight up like, and that's one thing I wanted to mention when you were talking, when it comes to women is being consistent with the way that they nurture children, like even if it is hard at that time, at that moment, you have to do it. You have to go through and nurturing them. Like what we were describing is really nurturing, raising your children. And I mean, even though now it's like, okay, yeah, it was the Bible, like a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, okay, that's not possible. Some things I'm like, that don't make sense. And me and my grandma debate about some of that stuff. She's like, no, this is true. And I'm like, Grandma, come on, come on, baby. You said it. Come on, baby. Let's read the Bible. Let's read God's
Mhm.
good word. And I'm like,
Mhm.
even now, like she'll be like, come on, baby. I'm like, Grandma, come on,
And
baby.
in
You
my house, it
always
was
do that.
always the King James version.
Oh
My mom
Lord,
didn't trust
yeah.
no other version. You brought another version of the Bible in the house, and that was almost blasphemy. We don't read nothing but the King James version of the Bible in this house. Don't you bring me no
Amen.
new international version or nothing else. I don't want to read that.
My grandma would say, she said, y'all, I'm not even playing. She'd be like, I don't want no international version. Who I ain't no Italian. I ain't no Spanish. I'm like, Spanish? What? Like, what is she
I
talking
know
about?
what you're talking about.
I'm like, how that's so I said being Italian or Spanish, that's international. Like, she was like, you don't know what you're talking about. She was like, all I know is that ain't no real Bible. And when somebody would bring it, she was like, because people would give older people, I don't know why people would give older people Bibles at Christmas. I don't know. But like as if they don't, have 10 of them in their house.
Right.
But she would have one and she's like, oh, okay, oh, this is the new the contemporary version. Oh, that's nice, baby. Thank you. And then as soon as she leave the room, I already knew what she was gonna say. She's like, "Hey, take this mess right here, put it in that drawer." I'm like, "Put it in
Right.
that drawer." I'm like, "Oh gosh!" I said, "Grandma, you don't want to read this new Bible that so so gave you, this man gave you?" And she looked at me like she would. If looks could kill, I'd be 6 feet under, straight up, like right then. But like that's what I was saying. Her consistency, like if she didn't like it, she didn't like it. She was like, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna play around with this. It's what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
even like, cause she from the silent generation. Like I've said several times, like my grandmother, she was sharecropping very young age, at 5 years old. She had to be out there, and she's like, she didn't know that it was like wrong. She just thought like just like everybody live.
Yeah.
And like living through the time where you see the Great Depression, that she was born before that, and she's just like, this is how everybody lives. So the being consistent, it was not just a way of life. It was not just, oh, this is what we do, or this is what I feel like doing. No, it was about survival. So I got that. And then they didn't have a lot that they have now, obviously, not just as far as technology, but the ability to communicate outside of that circle. So families were closer, tight knit, and it was really about the way she talks about things from back then until now. It was really about survival. If you were not consistent, people saw you as an inconsistent person, a no count in the street. That's what they called you, a no count. You the
Mm.
person that's just a vagabond who just bounce from house to house, who don't have any kind of rules and regulations
No
about
structure.
no
Mm-hmm.
no structure in your life, especially if you're a female. You're a female
Yes.
back then, you
Yes.
might not survive, you might not make it. You
Yeah.
know, you're a female with kids, you definitely might not make it. You definitely gonna be in some problems, have some trouble,
Yeah.
because like you considered a no count. Nobody is going to, clearly you were not consistent in your life. And if you're not consistent, you're not an adult, people are not going to have respect for you. They're not going to have regard for like protecting you. And I know that's harsh to hear now, because we so like in the participation trophy award, era.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets an award. Like, no, you ain't
Everybody
doing
gets
no
an
work.
award. Mm-hmm. For just showing up.
Award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have
I
to
showed
work for
up and laid down. You showed
that.
up and laid down. Congratulations.
Right.
Like, here's a kick in the butt. That's what you got back then.
Mm-hmm. Because you needed it. And that's a very important thing that you brought up about being a no count. Because that's what my mama used to say, that because her mom used to say it, a no count. And being a woman in an era where you needed to be somewhere under a protective cover. You needed to be on somebody's structure and order and program. You needed to be adhering to something, which is why they were so strict on a woman needs to act a certain way. She needs to behave a certain way. She needs to present herself a certain way. She needs to have a certain mindset. She needs to have a certain set of morals, a certain set of etiquettes, a certain culture about her that will make a man, her family, the community protect her, that will make them want to ensure her well-being. And that's actually the missing piece nowadays is women. And I hate to say it this way, and there are going to be women who don't like this next statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. Women in this time have too much liberty. They have too much liberty.
Mhm.
And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I don't mean that women shouldn't have any right over anything, especially themselves or things of that nature. I'm not talking about being in a situation where they must be subjugated. What I
Mhm.
mean is they have too much latitude in the society
Mhm.
where it has created an imbalance between men and women. This is where we're getting destroyed family units. This is why we have the single mother epidemic going on, our children not being raised properly, the disappearance of the extended family.
Yeah.
Um, all of these things, and I'm gonna touch this. All of these things touch on one of the 10 life values that is largely misunderstood sometimes, even by me at times, and that's mobility. Because what you were describing with your grandmother is that you lived with your family, you lived around them, they weren't too far from you, even extended, your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, and all of these things. So she grew up in a time where a community knew each other and it was like a family, even if you were not blood related. Now we have a tendency to isolate ourselves. Well, this one want to move over here, and this one want to go over there, and this one want to go over there. And in a way, I'm not saying that it's a problematic if you feel like you need to change your environment, because even
Mhm.
though we're family, we are still individuals. But it forces us to look at our mobility in the sense of how we are able to maintain these familial relationships, or on the other hand, how we allow the relationships to disintegrate or to degrade into this very rudimentary type of thing where we don't have a lot of connectedness with each other. And because women have gotten away from or have been told that they don't need to adhere to certain things because she's got it. She's able to work, she's able to go get money, she's able to go, into these different fields and into these different areas and do all of these things. In a woman's mind, having money is coverage. Having a job is coverage for her, especially a
Mhm.
young one. Only when they get around my age and they've been living like that do they realize it's not really a cover, that they are uncovered women. This is, and I hate to bring the brother up, Mr. Samuels, but this is who you have calling into his show. He got young women calling, but then he also has women my age and older who have never been covered by their families, by a man, by anybody. And they realize after they've gotten their degrees, after they've gotten their, prestige or whatever it was they were looking for, that they are still uncovered. The money and the degree and all of that, all those things did not cover them. And they are desperate now for any type of covering from anybody and may or may not ever receive it. And that's one of those things where that's what I mean by women have too much liberty. If you look at other patriarchal countries or even in Muslim countries, women have some leverage. They able to go to school. Women are able to, what I'm saying, do many things. But there are other things that women are not able to do. I mean, we had one country where women were just now recently was allowed to drive themselves anywhere. Now, a woman in America would think that that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? How is it that you just now getting that right? We've been had that right. But other women don't have that. And I think American women have to look at how much liberty we have. There have been some pros to that, but there are also drawbacks to that amount of liberty. And we have to take a good, truthful, honest look at what those drawbacks have been, because we think we're able to do X, Y, and Z without consequence or repercussion and without it having a negative effect. And I think now we're at a point where women are starting to see the effect of that amount of liberty that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not liberty. Um, it really isn't. Like when you really break it down like that. You recognize it's just a false sense of security.
Yes.
And, it's like walking in a room and there's a hole in the floor that if you step on that, you go into the bottom, to the basement. Sorry, y'all. I saw Home Alone Lost in New York yesterday. Anyway, if you take that hole, anyway, I'm thinking of when he fell, but if you take that hole, put a big rug over it, big Persian rug, $250 Persian rug over the top. It's all nice. You walk in, you still going down to the bottom, honey. This false sense of security. Oh, this time you're gonna be wrapped up in a rug instead of
Hmm.
just falling flat on the floor. You go fall. At least they'll find you in a nice rug. How about that?
Right.
You
Right.
know, but you don't have, and the hole doesn't even have to be that big. You still going down. And so I think about that. You got this false sense of security, false sense of hope, where it's like, it's unnatural, it's unbalanced. I can do all this on my own. I remember what was it, Tyler Perry played from back in the day. I can do bad all by myself. Yeah, yeah, you're showing that. Yeah, you're doing pretty bad,
Mhm.
on your own. Like,
Yeah.
if I want to be with somebody and I'm gonna do bad, I can do this by my own. That's cool,
Right.
do your thing, but trying to, and being in a relationship, you're trying to, a lot of the women are trying to, like, get over on the man, or they're trying to, establish themselves as, this is me, and I'm abundant, I'm enough, and this is my truth and all that kind of stuff. When in reality, you're supposed to be learning something. You're supposed to
Mm.
be improving upon yourself. You're supposed to be learning from him. You know,
Yes.
there's not too much that he needs to learn from you. Not too much.
Not too
Um,
much. No.
but you need to be learning a lot from him. That's with a woman who was raised with a father in the home.
Hmm.
So
Very
when
much so.
you come in there, you come in, if you coming from a home where you didn't have your father there, um, like, for me, I would suggest, like, women that are coming from that situation, that they go with a man that's older, with more patience and more ability to teach you. You need to learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, women coming from certain situations, that it does make a difference. What you're saying with women in these times versus back in the day, there a lot of women, we have to be honest, they don't want to be reached. They don't want to find that. And I figure, like, at this point in history, if you don't know the best option, or not the best option, but if you don't know that you have a problem and you need to search for the best option for you, then leave the men who really need to be with the woman, leave them for somebody else.
Hmm.
Walk your ass, yourself, walk yourself back to your degrees and your cold bed and your microwavable recalendars meals and your KitchenAid mixer that don't get used but once a year. You go over there and you be alone with your house cats. You go do that and leave all the other men over here. Don't complain about them either. Don't talk
Yeah.
about them. Talk about your cats. Talk
Yeah.
about the
Because that's
talk
who
about
he's living
the
with.
crochets.
Hmm.
Talk about the crochets. You crochet and stuff. Nice sweater. Okay, that's cool. Holla at Etsy about that. Leave all the other men over here. Leave them with the women who got some sense.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. And hopefully these types of conversations are introduced in that light. I'm sorry if it's harsh, but these type of conversations should be getting people to look in the mirror more, not throw the mirror out. You should be like, I'm good. I can throw that out. Look at that roll right there on the side. You see that little roll right there?
Mm-hmm.
That little roll, you need to work on that, honey. You see that little thing right there, that little cowlick on your hair. Fix that. You need to work on that. That's what the mirror is for. Or that's what we're here, hopefully, to help people, embrace that and work on what they're seeing in that reflection.
And I'm glad that you said all of that. First, thank you, Brenda. And thank you, Superman, strong coach. Said just drop by for a minute to lead the church offering. We love you. Brenda said, great show. I'm hoping that y'all are enjoying what we're saying because, you know, and I speak for myself here when Nikole talks about the mirror being held up. I got a mirror being held up in front of me. And I have had that mirror being held up in front of me for a little while now. And I know from experience how difficult that can be to have to look in the mirror and not see what you want to see, but see what's there. I was watching a clip from Iyanla
Mm-hmm.
when she did the show with Shay, that little reality TV girl, and she had presented them with a mirror that was distorted, like a funhouse mirror. And she had did it with her mom, and then she did it with Shay, and individually, not together. And she had asked her mother, what did she see when she looked in that mirror? And her mother said, "Oh, I saw a beautiful woman, a strong woman, and da 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 da." So Iyanla said, "Okay." So when Shay did it, she did the same thing, and she said, "What did you see in the mirror?" So Shay said, "I saw a beautiful, determined woman, and da 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 da." So Iyanla paused for a minute, and she said, "It's interesting that you didn't see what was there. You saw what you wanted to see.
Let me see.
What about the distorted image that was in the mirror?" And so she stopped and was like, "I didn't notice." She said, "So you overlooked something that was obviously wrong in order to create a narrative for yourself about what you saw. And I want you to sit with that for a minute, that that's what you did right now. And that's what you do in your life, which is why you here with with this situation. This is why you here." Thank you, Micah. He said, "I love it when you two come together." I love it when we come together too. Nikole is an awesome woman to have a conversation with. But that I thought that was a powerful, just seemed like a small exercise, but it
Deep.
demonstrated what people see sometimes when they look in mirrors. They don't see what's really there. They make up a narrative to themselves about what they see. And being in the position that I'm in right now, it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow, to look into the mirror, my own mirror, and see that, yeah, you a good person, you're a beautiful person, but there's a lot of work that you need to do. There are a lot of little destructive, negative things that you like to engage in, and I don't think you can see them for what they are. But I'm gonna point them out to you, and we're gonna see what you made of. Do you run from this, or do you really want to correct this? Do you really want to be the best version of you? It's not just a slogan. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just something that's catchy that people say on the internet now. Oh, you live your best life, or be the best version of you. This is really something that you have to work on. And to the ladies out there who are listening, younger, older, whatever, it doesn't matter, because whatever age group we're in, we always have some self-improvement that we need to do, no matter who we think we are. I'm not speaking to you or trying to speak to you from a position where I'm perfect and you need to do the work. I'm in the trench with the work too. I'm doing my work too. So I know that you break down sometime and you cry, and you got to do that. And I know sometimes you look in that mirror and you just you don't want nothing to do nothing but throw that mirror 10 miles away. Like Nikole just said, throw that mirror out, because you're tired of looking into it and seeing all of your flaws and all your problems. But the thing that I learned that I wish to share is that this is done for the love of you. You improve because you love yourself enough to be the best version of you, and to go through whatever thing you have to go through in order to become that person and become that woman. You have to start with loving yourself enough to understand that you deserve, and I don't like to use that word, I don't like the word deserve, but that you should be the best version of you. And it takes sometimes a process, a while for you to get there. But another thing that Nikole touched on earlier, consistency, being consistent with that work. being consistent with looking into that mirror, double checking, is everything all right? Oh, nope, you got a little thing right there, need fixing. Go ahead and fix that. Okay, what? Well, you look all right from this angle, but turn around. Turn on around. Go on, turn around. Yep, see, back there, you're missing. So, we have to be mindful of it, and we have to be aware. We are not living in our truth. There is nothing, no such thing as that. You are either living the truth or you're living a narrative about
Right.
yourself. And you have to decide which one you want to do.
Hmm. I'm saying my truth. You trying to put ownership on a eternal uh force that you don't control. You can't put ownership and control on the truth. You
Say
know,
that one more time for the ones in the back, Nikole. You said putting ownership on. Say that one
can
more time. I
cannot put
love that.
cannot put ownership on an eternal, like this is eternal force, eternal energies, eternal, the truth is
Mm,
the truth. You cannot put ownership on that. You are you're you're not even a cog in the machine. You're one fraction of a grain of sand on the beach.
mm,
You
mm,
have, when it comes to the truth, when it comes to the universe, you put too much value on yourself.
mm,
In that way, when you're talking about, well, this is my truth. You can f your truth, okay? Because your truth don't mean nothing. Because if your truth is completely disregarding the truth, who are you? Who needs
mm,
to? If that's your mentality, honestly, if that's your mentality, nothing needs to come from you.
mm,
Nothing should come from you. Like you need to be there like a pebble settled at the bottom of the creek, the bottom of the river.
mm,
You're not going anywhere. You ain't making your way to the ocean. You're
mm,
gonna be a nice weathered, soft pebble with no edges, no dimension.
mm,
You a pebble. That's a pebble is indicating if you go to a creek or a river, you see a pebble. Go to the beach. A pebble that's been there a long time. It
Yes,
hasn't
it
gone anywhere.
has.
It's been weathered by the water, but it
Yes.
hasn't. It hasn't been able to float anywhere.
Mm,
And a
mm,
lot of women, you want to hold on to your truth, and all right, you be a nice soft pebble, chilling. Mm. I
mm,
mean, you're gonna be there for a while, and in time, and the truth is gonna roll over you and keep it moving, and everything else is life around you that won't be allowed into you.
mm. And
Like
I'm gonna
that.
tell you another thing about that pebble, Miss Nikole.
Mm-hmm.
And for as long as it's been there, if you crack it open, it's bone dry on the inside.
Right.
All that water has been sitting there, has never penetrated,
Never penetrated it.
not a
Right.
single pore of that pebble. Y'all better contribute to these gems that just got
Yeah.
dropped on you. Nikole dropped a nuke on you. Hit put
That's
your
just how
cash
I see
app
it.
in the what's her cash? What's your cash app? Just Nikole Ali.
Yeah, just in one word. $ Nikole Ali. That I prefer they give to your channel, Crimson Cure, because
They can give both
this
ways.
is great.
Yeah, they be all
Oh
right.
yeah,
These DMs is coming from two sides. These
that's how
DMs is
what you were
coming from
saying. That's
everywhere.
how I see that. You
Mm,
have to be consistent. You have to be a woman. This fear, this I used to have it. It's a feeling for me. It was a feeling where it was like something was pinching me. It was like that little fear, that little punctified feeling. Like I don't know, insecurity and all that stuff. I'm not talking because about these things, and I know Kendra's not talking about these things because we haven't been through it. We've been through it. I deal with two young girls. One is 12, about to be 13. The other one just turned 6. She keep peeking through the door, but she want to come in here so bad with her little bunny rabbit. But I deal with them, trying to put confidence into them, and seeing where, we in different cultures. Their mother is from different cultures than me. And so seeing how I can be consistent with them, I can and bring them along and do things with them, and all that, and the boys as well. That's important. I can't be sitting here like no dang pebble. That's just
Mhm.
not. Gemstones are rough around the edges. When you're talking about the modeling, you are rough around the edges to people who are professionals in that field. Diamonds are, I mean, you see a diamond before it's shiny, and it's ugly. It don't really look like nothing.
Mhm.
Like, what is this? Like, you can see kind of like there's some shimmery, shiny stuff going on, but it needs to be polished. It needs to be refined. It needs to realize its purpose so
Mm.
it can be seen, and it needs to not only be polished, but it needs to be the care and nurture that goes into polishing it needs to happen a certain way so that diamond, the clarity is there. So it has better clarity. So you can appreciate the work that went into it. When you go searching for an engagement ring or any kind of jewelry, they tell you about the clarity, the cut,
Mhm.
customization, whatever you're gonna do to it. Emerald cut, princess cut, pear shape, heart shape, whatever you're gonna do. It's all based on the clarity, the cut, the customization, color, things like that. I think it's like 4 or 5 C's they go they go by with gemstones, right? So that's important. Gemstones are rough. They're made like for me as a female, gemstone that started off real rough, for me to be enhanced, the right man had to do that. For me to be enhanced, for me to be polished and brought up. Women don't like to, admit that. He didn't bring me nowhere. He
Mm.
didn't bring me up nowhere.
Hmm.
He was in the gutter. Okay, stop playing around. Like, come on now. He was in the gutter like that. Let's be
Don't say
humble
like
about
you wasn't
it.
upgraded. Mm-hmm.
You yeah, like you ain't upgraded. I upgraded myself. Okay,
Girl,
sit
bye.
your ass over there. Like I said, like Brenda said, with your hot pockets and your Marie calendars, you sit right over there and you chill while somebody else get this man who has the polishing kit in his car. Okay, because he knows what he's doing. Finding the right man to polish this woman, to get her to pull her up and say, this is my woman. This is the woman for me rest of my life. That's very important, to
Very.
instill that type of, everything that we're talking about, all these different values, these life lessons. Very important to do that as a woman, to be ready for that guy, for that man to come along, you know. And any diamond any gemstone is ready,
Mhm.
but you have to be a gemstone. You can't be a piece of gravel.
You cannot be a piece of gravel.
You
Like
can't
you
be a
said,
piece of
gemstones
gravel.
are rough. They rough cut,
Hmm.
small or big, and they designed to withstand pressure.
True,
Still be beautiful underneath the pressure. That's what they designed for. When you crush a pebble, it turns to dust. When you
true.
crush what's around a diamond, it becomes a diamond. So, and what you're talking about,
Dull, cloudy mess. He's
you're
right.
right.
Brandon Sheen is right. I've seen diamonds in their
And
raw form. It's cloudy. It just look like
they ugly.
you can see it's very ugly. But if you have the right eye and you know what you're doing, you know what that is,
Yeah.
and you know the potential that that stone has. You're like, wait a minute. Everybody else will pass you by. You'll pass it by. When the right man, the right person come along, they're like, hold up. Usually the people that do the jewelry exchanges and stuff, usually men. They have the right
Mhm.
eye. They can recognize, this gem.
They
So there
are
is
usually men,
yeah,
yes, that
it's
have
the
the eye.
metaphorical thing there with
Yeah.
women and men in relationships with a jewelry, a person who's enhancing jewelry or exchanging jewelry. There is a metaphorical um, thing there where you have men and women. The jewel being, of course, the woman and the man who's enhancing this jewel. So there is a connection that with that, just to make it simple.
Yeah.
But as far as the man having that eye, he will let everybody else pass it by. It doesn't matter the size. A diamond is a diamond. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So the size and all that is not as important. You could have a huge diamond with no clarity and a small diamond with 100% clarity, or
Hmm.
close to 100%. Which one would you go for? The one with close to
Exactly.
100%.
Right.
easier to deal with, easier to mold. Ladies, are you listening?
Exactly.
Easier
Ladies,
to
are you
mold,
listening? Yeah. And you have to
easier
be
to deal with.
malleable.
Yep.
Like, even with, and we can come back to the jeweler's analogy because it's a beautiful one and it's an appropriate one. But I want to step back a few paces to go back to the upgrade situation and women claiming that the men didn't help them upgrade. Women don't upgrade themselves because we are unable to. And I'll get to the super chats and stuff and the cash apps in a moment. Um, Women don't upgrade themselves. We go to a certain point and then we are stuck because women are potential energy. And I'm going to draw attention to my sponsor for this example. I was
Mhm.
doing my channel. Okay, it was all right. You know what I'm saying? I had people coming in. I was doing a live stream. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing me. I'm doing it how I want to do it and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's all right. It was all right. But the upgrade comes with the structure. Before you can upgrade, a structure must be there because you cannot upgrade in the midst of chaos. And in this situation, chaos is simply the absence of order. And as a woman on her own, I was in the absence of order. So therefore, I was defaulted into chaos. I was defaulted into that because there was simply no structure. Because I don't create structure. I can abide by a structure, but I can't create one. The sponsor comes along and
Mhm.
says, okay, I want to sponsor the channel. This is what it takes. This is what it's going to be. This is how things have to be. You know what I'm saying? For the sponsorship to work. Yada, 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 boom, boom, boom. Structure. Then what happens after the structure comes along? The upgrade happens. 6 months ago, I wasn't in a studio, right? I was chilling on StreamYards with my icon up, talking mad ish, okay, just talking. You feel me? Cussing, doing all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying whatever without a whole lot of filter on it. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is to demonstrate, yeah, I have an upgrade, but it wasn't because of something I did. I didn't just think, because if it was something that I could have done, I would have done it without a sponsorship. I would have just done it. I would have just had a studio. I would have just had I would have just had it. I would have just done it. Yeah, I thought about it, but without no structure, you're really not gonna get anything done. Like, so things can't get done, right?
No.
And tying that back to the the uh the jewel appraiser analogy, you usually in a position as a woman for a man to come along with the eye to see what he see, to see something in a gym, to first of all to see if it is a gem or if it's fool's gold. You know what I'm saying? What is this? You know what I'm saying? Because there are other stones out there that look like a diamond, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It looked like an emerald, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a sapphire, but when you get into the composition of it, it's not really like that at all. And it does not have any qualities of this gem. It just kind of almost kind of look like it. But when you get up close and kind of put that eye on it, no, it don't look like that.
Mhm.
And there usually are the male appraisers. That's such a lovely analogy for that. The male appraiser looking at the gem and the gem being the female to analyze her value, her worth, and her actually
That's
being
what happens.
gem. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that's what happens when you're in a relationship. When you're, well, not in a relationship, when you're starting out, you're dating. Women always wonder, like, he don't really talk that much. He don't really say much. Girl, he's appraising you. Like, know,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to figure you out to see where where your head is, and more importantly, where your spirit is. Even though men might not say that, that's what they, looking for. Like, where's your spirit? Where's your energy? And the stones do have energy. They have their own little thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
They come from the earth, so they have to have some energy, some aspects, and different frequencies they give off. Women give off frequencies.
We do.
Men give off frequencies. Women, problem with women is a lot of times we don't even know we have all these frequencies we give off. And this goes back to what we said earlier. See how I brought it full circle?
See, Lioness gonna bring you full circle now.
Go back to the beginning. We're talking about the perfume and the way you carry yourself and everything. Um, I mean, you can do a lot with different gems, like you said. Exactly, diamonds. Quartz looks like a diamond if you don't know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking at, quartz, they use that to make countertops. I ain't never heard no diamond countertop. But when you see quartz versus a diamond and you don't know what you're looking at because you're a man who doesn't have who's probably still encased within the gynocracy, you can't see that this gem here, which is not really a gem, but it has lower quality and clarity. You sit here with your little pocket square trying to shine it up. It ain't going nowhere. It's not meant to be that clear, you know what I'm saying? But you ignore this diamond over here, this diamond, that's a real diamond next to you, that's got a little dust on it, a little dirt on it or something. It won't, you just run it through the water real fast and buff it up a little, which will take less time and energy, but that's, and I see that from men that are trying to navigate through dating and relationships with women. Women have to recognize men do see what you are. It may not be immediately, but if he sees it later, don't get mad if he get, a little perturbed by that and frustrated by that because you were not putting yourself, you were giving him your representative, and you were not giving him yourself, you know. And the same goes for men sometimes. I have to say that it also goes for men sometimes. If you're not putting your true self out there, I'm an apprentice. I'm a novice appraiser, jewelry appraiser. I'm a novice. I'm just starting out on this. I'm not very, experienced. That I'm just learning, that comes off like that's more honest than saying, yeah, girl, I got this, I got that. I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you. Fool. Like, back up. Why you ain't, if you was so this and that, why you couldn't see that I was playing you? Like,
Right.
what's going on there? What's going on there? Like, you have all this puffing going on, and that's not helping you as a man either. You're giving the women that you're giving yourself, you're lying to yourself, giving yourself this false sense of security, as women do as well.
Yes.
But you're also making it harder for, your true energy, your true essence to come forward. You're just like tapping it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. No, go through the steps and go through the stages of what it takes to get to being a better evaluator. Men are, um, and I heard somebody say this, like mostly here to conquer, to obtain resources, to manage resources. And in the essence, you are an evaluator. You're evaluating the landscape, evaluating people. That's for your survival, okay, as a man. And when you would have a family, that's for your family survival. Get with the wrong heifer and see what happened to you. Okay, the one who's not consistent, who has no clarity, who don't know what she's doing in her life, just floating around like a feather on the wind, winging a prayer. And yeah, that's not. You can't do nothing with that. I really hope that men and women are getting things out of the metaphor of the jewelry and whatnot. I just thought it's the holidays, jewelry, all that. hit hit. I
Yeah.
like jewelry, y'all, but I'm just saying, like, no, I'm saying like that. It's very important to know yourself and know what your limits are, but not be afraid to, work up to a point where, I'm an expert in this particular thing. I know what I'm doing and get it right, execute it. Don't, like you were saying with the sponsor, and I know you're a Gemini, so, and everything. So maybe there's like a little bit of procrastination.
hmm The
going on.
execution don't be all that good sometime with us. We want to do stuff
Yeah.
and then we don't. We don't be right. We be all over the place. I get excited. Yeah, I get, oh, this can happen. And we can do this and then do this. And then, yeah, it's like, sit down. Sit down somewhere.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like I think it with me, I'm a Leo, so for me, it's like I feel like yeah, being a perfectionist is yeah, I can see that. But also and then wanting it right, like this is it. But for me, I think as a Leo, I just try to do a little at a time and I try to be patient. Like I said once before, like I give people so many chances and chances and chances to get their information out and for me to engage with them, and I'm really just seeing like you know not what the person knows, but I'm trying to see like is this person like what they're giving me and what they're giving everybody that's listening, is this something that helps them grow as well, the person that's speaking. Like that's why, like for me, it don't have to be perfect. It's like anyway, I don't care about it. I'm just like, hey, let's just get it out. Let's just do it and see what happens. And chance after chance, person can do whatever they want to do. I'm just like, hey, let's just get it done. Like I'm kind of like just loose like that. I don't know. I prefer to like because everybody has their own pace,
Mm,
so I prefer to like just get it out there. But I know what you mean. Like you want certain things to be like perfect, or like what you envision in your mind.
mm-hmm.
And I've learned like that sometimes that vision in my mind, I'm like, well, that didn't go like I planned it. And I used to be so mad, like, dang it,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah,
didn't go like I planned it. But I have now just kind of like, I let it go.
yeah. That's my biggest lesson right now is
Mm.
taking my hands off of stuff because I like to try to control outcomes.
Yeah.
I like to try to manage stuff and well, it should go like this and I think it should be like that and I think it should be, and it's a control issue that I
Mm,
have, and I've had to recognize that it's a control issue that's really kind of rooted in abandonment,
mm-hmm,
and it's rooted in not being able to predict anything and sort of being in an unpredictable space all the time, an unsecured space.
mm-hmm,
So I developed that trying to make sure certain things do certain other things and certain stuff go a certain way because I don't want to be abandoned and I don't want to be in a space where I don't know what's the next thing that could possibly happen to me. Like it's so unsecured that anything could happen and I don't like that. But the lesson that I'm having to learn right now is that I'm not really that control mechanism doesn't really belong to me. I have to be able to let that go. And
mm-hmm.
like that old saying, go let go and let God. Let go and let God take your hands off of that. That's not even none of your. That's not even in your wheelhouse to be dealing with anyway. So I don't know why you got your hand on it because putting your hand on it ain't not about to change no outcome. Matter of fact, you about to mess something up. So I want you to take your hands and sit on them. Sit on your hands. That way we all know where your hands are and they aren't somewhere messing something up.
Right.
That's my lesson for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like you sit down, you're trying to nitpick and manage and control stuff. Don't nobody got time for all of that. But let me take a moment to hit some of these cash apps and stuff. 3M, thank you for your super chats. I really enjoy listening to both of you. Your conversations are always so therapeutic and calming. I would like to give a thank you and thank you for each of you. Thank you as well, sweetheart. Very much appreciated. I like to go ahead and thank Sheep. So Lionesses Speak. Thank you so much for that contribution. Also, thank you, T Fitness. And for the cash apps, there are actually quite a few of them. Evo Sosa, thank you. Um, Your initials are SR. It's a woman. I don't want to say your government name over here, but thank you so much for your cash app. Green Machine, you as well. Mogul Maze, MLR, Third Ward. Uh, KH is, and I don't want to say yours. It's a lady as well. For your cash app as well. I want to thank Sherry for her PayPal also, and I don't want to miss anybody's cash app, so I'm gonna check really really fast just to make sure I'm not missing anybody, because I don't want to miss people. Um,
Yeah,
let's
I hate missing people.
Now I don't like missing people. They put their money up and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and you don't recognize them. That's not fair. So I think I got everybody's cash app. So I want to thank you all for that. Very appreciated as well. Um, do we have any, because I got a little time. I don't know how much time Nikole has, but I have a little time for Q&A if that's something that y'all want to do. Before we wrap up and close out, I want to give people an opportunity to say what they want to say. So if you want to put a question in the chat or you want to come up for a second,
Okay.
just let me know. If we come up, I'm going to have to put a timer on it.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, you all can talk. I actually have to go. I'm gonna
Okay.
go. The youngest one, Jacob, he has his little birthday celebration. He's
Ah,
5.
happy birthday.
He's 5, and so he picked out his own. I thought it was a pink cake. I'm like, boy, what is this? Saw it in the fridge. I'm like, what is this? He said, it's my Spider-Man cake. I'm like, oh. I couldn't tell. I thought it was. I was like, why you pick out a pink cake? He said, no, it's red. Oh, he said, I swear, y'all, it looked pink. I'm like, who got a pink cake in my fridge? I'm like, wait a minute now. Hold on, boy, hold up. And it does have Spider-Man on it, and we were gonna get the tree, and that's what he wants to do for his birthday. He wants to put up the Christmas tree and decorate it, and hang ornaments with his little step ladder. That's what he wants to do. So I'll go do that. I really appreciate you having me
It's no problem.
here.
My pleasure, sweetheart. My pleasure. We got to do this again soon because, like I said, I kind of want to make this a regular thing for the audience because I think they really enjoy, and I know I definitely enjoy these conversations that we have. And so, thank you for giving us your time today, Miss Nikole. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna let you get to your babies, but thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Y'all have a good evening.
All right. You too.
Bye.
All right. So I don't know if anyone has any type of question that we've been up here about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I don't think we got no questions or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thank everyone for coming through. And I got a treat for y'all. I got a treat for y'all. So stick around so you can take a look at it. All right. I love you guys. Peace out. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.